Thank you for coming tonight. This is an exciting event, and I'd like to welcome everyone. I am Jack Stankovic, and I am the director of the Link Lab. And I would like to welcome you all to this exciting and unique experiment in multidisciplinary collaborative research for cyber-physical systems. For those of you who might not know what cyber-physical systems are, they basically are systems which support the creation of smart worlds. In this Link Lab, we have structured our work around smart cities, smart health, and autonomous vehicles or autonomous systems, such as driverless cars and drones. It's also important to note that the National Academy of Sciences has itemized cyber-physical systems as a national priority for education, and this lab is also addressing those points. The government has listed cyber-physical systems as a national priority, and what's really exciting to me and to the people involved with this is that the Link Lab is actually very unique. While this cyber-physical systems area has taken off and encompassed the entire world, this is the only lab that we're aware of that has been able to create a unique environment where 5 engineering and computer science departments come together under one roof to do research and in a very collaborative manner. We don't just talk about multidisciplinary work, but we actually do it. We are driving, kind of novel solutions in society's biggest challenges, from health, energy, transportation, environment, and so on. Because of this lab, we feel we've been able to hire amazingly strong people. We hired 7 new assistant professors from the best people from the best departments. It's really quite exciting. The Board of Visitors has supported this extremely well. They have given us a $4.7 million to create this environment that you see here tonight. And there's already, I believe, a strong return on investment. We have, in fiscal year 2017, the faculty involved with here brought in over $12 million in research funding. And for 2018 fiscal year, which still has 5 months to go, there's already over $14 million being acquired from external research funds. We would like to thank some important people who have made this possible. So without Dean Benson coming in and pushing multidisciplinary work and agreeing to push the first thrust into cyber-physical systems, allowing us to hire all these individuals, has been amazing. I'd also like to thank kind of John Locke, Camille Whitehouse, John Goodall, and Pam Norris for their support and their vision working together to actually establish this. It took about 1.5 years for us to put all this together. Obviously, it wouldn't work without great faculty and great graduate students, so I'd like to thank all of them. And again, the Board of Visitors has been instrumental in having this happen. And many things have good ideas, but if you don't have any funding behind it, you can't do it. And so this has been a great opportunity, and we intend that this lab becomes world famous, and people here in the year 1 will be able to say they were here at the beginning. So this is great. We have a bunch of short talks here, and we would like to start with a video that kind of captures the spirit and the exciting work that's going on here in the Link Lab. Imagine a future when the link between the cyber world and the physical world is real. When doctors work side by side with smart machines, so medical treatments will be delivered more precisely and safely than ever before. A future when autonomous systems paved the way for driverless cars, intelligent buildings, and smart cities. What would be possible if the boundaries between ideas and execution were broken? Here at the University of Virginia's Link Lab, researchers are answering that question. In this 17,000 square foot space, we are working together to develop the technologies that will shape society. We are not just reacting to the cyber age, we are catalyzing it.
All of the grand challenges that we're facing as a society now and in the coming decades are going to require interdisciplinary approaches and solutions. When we first started envisioning the Link Lab, we had this idea of bringing together the cyber and the physical. And as we started having those conversations and we started understanding all of the exciting research opportunities at that link, and then all of the things we could do with that research, the different applications, the kind of societal impact we could have.
It's the only place that I'm aware of that really integrates across so many different engineering disciplines. A lot of times these labs exist, but they don't reach across 5 disciplines and pull them in effectively like we're doing here in the Link Lab right now.
Because of the multidisciplinary nature of the Link Lab, I get to work with faculty and students from different disciplines. For example, I have students from mechanical engineering, computer engineering, and systems engineering. This helps us to solve problems with complex challenges across different disciplines.
Civil engineering is more of a traditional discipline. We're one of the oldest engineering disciplines, and what's interesting about us is that we're somewhat slow to change. And the Link Lab, in my opinion, is really interesting because we have, you could think of computer science being on the cutting edge of technology, and so it allows us to really link up with people that are exploring new things like emerging data analytic techniques or novel sensing techniques, and they're right down the hall.
Being at UVA, it's a unique opportunity where we're so closely aligned with the engineering school to collaborate together between the engineering and the medicine faculty. So we'll have our residents going over to the Link Lab, trying out the equipment to help develop it before we bring it over here to the operating room.
Being close to UVA Medical School provides us with the opportunity to interact with the faculty and surgeons in the medical school and see the real impact of our research either in simulation or actual practice. For example, we are working with Dr. Schenkman on design of simulators that can help with education and training of the residents in the operating room.
I'm working with Lu Feng, faculty in computer science, and we are trying to link our work in autonomous driving and measuring trust in autonomous driving as well. So I am working on creating the user interfaces which can reside in the driving simulator that Lu has.
With our approach and with our driving simulator, our lab setting, we're going to be able to testing the design of autonomous cars in virtual environment. And this will help us to reduce the development cost for autonomous cars. And we can also design for more trustworthy and safe autonomy from the early design stage and also accounting for different human factors.
So in the Link Lab, our research priorities are smart cities, smart health, and autonomous systems. But underneath each of those different application areas is cyber-physical systems, which is the technology bedrock for all these different application domains that we're exploring within the lab.
Cyber-physical systems is a fairly new term, but it really links a lot of different people together. And so the opportunity to work with this group of researchers and students who are sort of in this vested interest is actually very exciting.
Health is not just something that is focused on by the medical school or the nursing school. When you think about the kinds of technologies now that can improve someone's health and wellness, or thinking about behaviors that end up impacting somebody's health, architectural spaces, sociological and psychological concerns that can affect people's health. As we approach those kinds of challenges in the coming decades, this is really going to require teams of researchers from all of these disciplines coming together and finding integrated solutions.
My research centers on the built environment, and so I think for most people that, things like buildings, bridges, towers, things like that, where we actually rely on it for our everyday lives. So the Link Lab is actually really enticing to me because as a traditional structural engineer, we're looking for new techniques, new approaches, and new opportunities to do what we do better and understand the performance.
I'm very excited about the university's investment within the Link Lab. Our new state-of-the-art space is really changing the way I think about my research. We have glass walls in our offices, which just makes you kind of look out and see the lab and want to collaborate with others, and doesn't create this false barrier between faculty members and students.
This is such an exciting time to be at the University of Virginia. With the level of investments that are being made in a variety of interdisciplinary activities, just the faculty and the students are energized. They see what's possible as we link across the various disciplines, not just within the engineering school, but across the entire university. This is something that's going to position UVA as a leader as it enters its third century.
Humanity is at the beginning of an exciting new age, and UVA Engineering is leading the way. We built a collaborative space where we are translating research into real-time technologies that will advance the world. We are making new connections and preparing the next generation of cyber leaders. UVA Engineering is creating a powerful future.
Collaboration,
Innovation.
Leadership
Research that benefits
humanity.
The cyber future is here.
In the Link Lab,
at UVA Engineering.
So when I see that, I say, wow, you know, this is exciting, and I hope everybody else gets that kind of feeling. We feel that the Link Lab has this kind of unlimited potential to make the world a better place, and that's what we're really after. I did acknowledge a few people earlier, but I would like to say that there's no way this would have happened without the great leadership of at the engineering school administration level, and I would like to introduce Pam Norris, who leads our research enterprise, and she's a very accomplished researcher in mechanical engineering, and under her leadership, the school has increased the kind of research dollars coming in from fiscal year 2016 to 17 by over 36%. And so we feel like the Link Lab has been a major player in that increase. And so let me welcome Pam.
Welcome. Thanks for sharing this wonderful evening with us. In 2015, engineering faculty embarked on a bold new adventure, a journey to excellence in research and education. We brought all of our engineering faculty together and charged them with thinking big. What were the grand challenges that we could bring our collective expertise to make a big impact? Where could we be most productive and have that biggest impact for the university, for the Commonwealth of Virginia, for the School of Engineering, and for society as a whole? Boy, our engineers rose to that challenge beyond our wildest dreams. Last fiscal year, as Jack just highlighted, the school's new sponsored research programs funding increased by 36%, and we're on track this year to meet that. A large part of this is Link Lab, thank you. This made UVA Engineering the primary driver in the university's overall 10% increase in research funding last year. The number of large-scale research proposals our faculty submitted, those more than $1 million, went up dramatically, and the success we've had with those grants has been commensurate. This incredible Link Lab is just one of the most visible manifestations of that energy, excitement, and our success. We recognize that UVA had an unbelievable core of faculty who are working in various areas of cyber-physical systems across many engineering disciplines and across the university schools in medicine, nursing, business, law, arts and sciences, public policy, and architecture. And we knew if we could link them all together in a Link Lab, that together they would bring their collaborative initiative, and with their own space, they would add exponentially to their ability to generate new ideas and new solutions for societal challenges. All of this sprang from the bold vision and world-class education for research and world-class education shared by our dean, Craig Benson. Craig was appointed Dean of Engineering in 2015. He himself was a world-class engineer. He's developed many geo-environmental technologies deployed around the globe today. For example, He and his team developed a revolutionary way to use natural processes to prevent landfills from leaking pollutants into our groundwater. These are the types of societally important problems our faculty are addressing every day. Thank you, Craig, for that and his innovations. He is being inducted to the National Academy of Inventors next month. He's already a member of the National Academy of Engineering. So Craig, thank you for such passionate support of research for the public good.
Thanks for those kind words, Pam. Makes me blush a little bit as a Midwesterner. But this is a team effort. This is something that a lot of people have put a lot of effort in. I want to thank a few people as I start off. This wouldn't happen without our university leadership. Tom, are you still here? Tom Katsoulias? I don't know if Tom was, I know he had a deadline. We got other parts of the President's Cabinet. I know Ram is here. Any other President's Cabinet, raise your hand. This happens from leadership, all right? Our school leadership as well. Pam and others, part of our leadership team that are here. I know you're here. There's Maite. Yeah. This happens because people put forth the effort to make it happen. Perhaps most important is our Link Lab faculty and staff that had a vision. And I remember when we sat in the Rodman room and dreamed this up and talked about this opportunity. Our Link Lab faculty and staff who made this happen. And finally, our Board of Visitors members. I know we have a former board member up here who's going to talk in a minute, and we've got another here. Any other board members here? Raise your hands. All right. That's an important part of this, the Board of Visitors, an important part of our future. The Link Lab really captures the future higher education and the future of what we want to be at the University of Virginia. Cyber-physical systems is going to be one of the most important technological advances in our lifetime. It's going to be a technological and an economic disruption throughout our nation. You think about the autonomous automobile, the ability to go to Washington, D.C. and not have to think about traffic. Just sit in your car and go. Think about your smart home and smart cities that are very comfortable and healthy and energy efficient. And something you don't have to think about because something else is managing it in the background. Think about smart health. That video that we saw here that brings in healthcare is pretty remarkable. Think about bringing the precision and predictability of engineering to healthcare and being able to change the face of healthcare forever. And in a very practical way, think about Amazon 30-minute delivery. The plan to be able to have something that you want at your fingertips from pushing by to your front porch in 30 minutes. If that's not cyber-physical systems, that's where the world is. This is expected to be a $10 trillion, not billion, $trillion industry annually. And we're going to be right at the forefront of it. And that's really a key part of our message, is that what the things that we want to do, or our strategic plan, is about investing and participating in blue water opportunities in the nation. We want to position ourselves to be leaders that are driving technology in areas that are important to the nation and important to our economy. And this is exactly the type of example of where we want to be. We're not going to be participants. We're going to be pushing the frontiers. We're going to be leaders in cyber-physical systems that are driving that future. I think this really fits well with the idea of the new Virginia economy. The economy that's about high margin, high technology jobs. Bringing that type of environment to Virginia that creates a vibrant, sound economy that drives us forward for decades to come, that will sustain both our university, but more broadly, our Commonwealth, to make it one of the most successful places to be in the U.S. This doesn't happen without vision and insight, and I want to circle back to some folks that I mentioned earlier on. This lab is possible because of an investment strategy our Board of Visitors created and our senior leadership team at the university created for the University of Virginia, our Strategic Investment Fund. This is a fund that we created by bundling together a series of endowments to find a way to resource activities that were going to propel the university forward. This is an example of it. We took a $5 million investment, and you heard Jack talk about it. In 2 years, we've got an ROI of a factor of 4. How many people here can tell me their investments have to a factor of 4 margin? Not 4%, factor of 4. That's pretty remarkable. That vision to take our resources and to create a vehicle to create strategic change within the university is a remarkable vision. And I want to thank Bill Goodwin and the Board of Visitor members for making that happen, to change the face of the university, to put us in a leadership role forever. So I'm going to introduce Bill to come up here and speak.
Well, first of all, I'll be short-winded, but I will have to admit that it's really nice to be a past board member and get to be invited to something. So you don't know how quickly at 1:01 the clock turns around, the emails stop, the phone stops, and everything. But anyway, it's nice to be here, and a couple of things I want to say that really are not necessarily related to the Link Lab, but I just want to let y'all know that we have probably the greatest university here of all the universities that anybody knows. And so this is just an example of why we are a great university and why we're going to continue to be a great university. So I just try to remind everybody of, sometimes you read these stories and stuff and this and that and the other, but we ought to be really, really proud, all of us here, of being part of a great university. I want to recognize Jim Murray. He raised his hand from the Board of Visitors, but he is rector to be, so he has got a big job ahead of him. And I'm going to give him a bigger job right now, because I'm going to encourage Craig and this group to come up with another $5 million proposal. And I'd encourage you to do it right quick, because you, in addition to this, ROI that you are promoting, we can't turn down. I mean, it would be hard to give you a hard time. So, and I've been the one, I apologize. I sort of gave Craig a little hard time when this proposal came through, and excuse me, and I sort of challenged him, and I introduced him to the ROI, and he reminded me he knew what that meant now. So thank you, Craig. I appreciate it. And I'm going to stop with that, except I want to try to tell one more little story. I sat down to the gentleman to my right, and I tried to be nice when we first went in, and I asked him a little bit about himself. By the way, his name is Ram, but if you got his last name and you can pronounce it, you ought to get a promotion, whatever you do, because I think I counted it was 20 letters. But anyway, the first thing that he said to me is, "I'm a mechanical engineer." And I thought to myself, nobody ever really asks me anymore, but I'm a mechanical engineer, believe it or not. So I didn't practice to your level, by the way, but I did enjoy the time. But it's great for what you guys are doing. I really mean it. And it's this leadership, and not only the university, you're innovative and you're creating tomorrow a lot of opportunities for a lot of people, and you are spending the university's money well. So I thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bill. I know I said this before, but the support of the Board of Visitors was incredibly great, and we wouldn't have this without them, so we really appreciate that. And by the way, I have another set of ideas for $5 million. That would be no problem for us to work on. Yeah, can we have a drink afterwards so we can talk about it? And I also would like to see if I get promoted, so I'm going to try to pronounce his name. And I would like to welcome our Vice President for Research, Melor Rama Subramanian. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack, for those kind words. I want to thank you all for inviting me to be part of this special occasion on the launching of this lab. And a vision of Dean Craig Benson, and brought to reality by a large team involving school administrators, faculty leaders, and staff members, and funded by the CIF program. Congratulations on this accomplishment. From what I see, this is only the beginning. The Link Lab aims to bring together faculty and students from different departments, co-locate them in this beautiful state-of-the-art space, wide open space, to collaborate freely and address societal grand challenges in the area of cyber-physical systems. With the leaders in the field, such as Dr. Jack Stankovic, I hope I'm saying this correctly. I get a promotion too. I didn't ask him before this. And his colleagues working together on a wide range of expertise here at Link Lab to make significant advances in this field that has already seen explosive growth, and we are leaders in that field, and thank you for your leadership. Societal grand challenges, as John Locke said in the video earlier, are highly interdisciplinary. They require a team of experts to come together, work together, learn about each other's discipline, and bring their own deep expertise to solve that grand challenge at hand. And this Link Lab is an example of how to go about doing it. And co-locating 18 plus faculty across a multitude of departments focused on this challenging cyber-physical systems is remarkable, and I congratulate you on that. Now, this coming from National Science Foundation, this type of space and thinking, it's not just the space, and thinking is expected from an institution that's expecting to be funded $40 million, $50 million grants when you do site visits. I can tell you the secret: when you go back and talk about institutions, can they really pull this off? Do they have the space? Do they have this thinking of bringing people together to deserve this $50 million funding and so on and so forth? And this Link Lab, I can promise you, is at the forefront of convincing large-scale funding agencies by just walking them through and showing them the activities that's going on. Regardless of the field that they are going to be funding, I think this lab will really help others as well. I hope we are able to make further investments using this as a start and a model to build larger scale interdisciplinary centers that cuts across school boundaries and even move UVA to a greater level of excellence. Finally, I want to, I've been here 6-7 months now. I'm convinced that UVA is on a definite path towards preeminence in research. I have no doubt about that. With the kind of investments that the SIF has made, $97 million on research and research infrastructure out of a $300+ million speaks volumes. The kinds of top-notch people that the school has hired, the people like Craig would say wouldn't have considered coming here 5 years ago, coming over here speaks volumes. So our actions speak volumes, and all the work that you do and the standards of excellence that you have set for yourself is something we couldn't dare to set for you, and you have set yourself higher expectations. And I think that is all going to push us to really be widely recognized as a preeminent research institutions. And as John Locke said, this is an exciting time to be at UVA. I'm honored to be part of UVA and be part of you, trying to help you in any which way to accomplish your goals. I'm here to serve. And thank you and congratulations.
Okay, so now we will have a fairly unique ribbon cutting. Let me ask the people to come up here against the screen. We're going to have drones raise the ribbon, and we're going to cut the ribbon. So, Nicola? You go on in.